Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ridwanullah family. Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV's Unfiltered with your host, Unfiltered Motivation, with your host and maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, working to help you completely maximize your dream deen, business, and life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, in today's episode, I'm going to share with you something that I don't think I could ever top forever, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, because I believe in it to be that much powerful and that much impacting, not only in my life, but everyone that I've worked with and dealt with for the longest time, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And it is an idea that I've been working on for such a long time, and I thought I had it for a second, but for some reason didn't have it quite yet. And it's one of those things where, you know, it's an idea, you might have like idea fatigue, meaning like you have so many ideas and you don't even think, you know, the next one is going to be as powerful, but you just have to keep searching, keep looking, and give yourself, you know, the benefit of the doubt, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And for me, my biggest and brightest idea that I could share with you is a spiritual and psychological solution. It's a spiritual and psychological solution. Now, when you look at the essence of the base, the foundation and framework of life, it is starting at the spiritual and psychological level. So any of the doctors that are out there practicing medicine or anything of that nature, or any level of health and healthcare professionals that I'm actually a part of in certain capacity, you really have to understand, besides the physical level of life and everything else that is beyond that, you have to understand at the root of it, at the base of it, is our spiritual and psychological reality. And if that's something that you're interested in, that you love, then you're going to definitely love this. But if that's not something that you're interested in or love, then obviously later you might understand the power of it and the significance of it and how important it is, not only to understand but utilize in every single area of our lives in this dunya as well as the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm just going to tell you the big picture, the general idea of it right now. But in the future, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, as I continue to probably do some level of speaking and training, coaching, consulting, and authoring, you'll be able to follow along in some of the things that I'm telling you, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. But I just want to plant some seeds today so you can have an idea of exactly what it is and what it's really about, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And with that being said, the real reason and the intention that I have in creating this video, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, is so that you don't take your ideas lightly. And I've been listening to a lot of motivational talks, and I've really understood that one simple idea could change the rest of your life. And for me personally, not only do I know, but I believe it is the one, and without any doubt, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And it's understanding where it's rooted. It's rooted in Quran and the Sunnah. It's also rooted in sacred and secular knowledge. It's rooted in scientific backing to a certain degree, as well as artistic levels of understanding, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So for me, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, there's three particular elements to this idea of the spiritual and psychological reality that we're continuously engaged in. And number one is the complete need and want of the spiritual and psychological level. Just like when you're thinking about a body, it needs water, it needs food, it needs oxygen, and so many other elements that are within that capacity. And similarly, the spirit and the spirit and psychology, it needs that important element. It needs that, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And so what I've developed is through years and years of research and implementing and understanding, and you know what I mean, like speaking, training, coaching, consulting, and writing in so many different ways, I've really realized there's only three particular needs and wants of the spirit and the psychology. And when you understand that, it's an amazing reality. Now, if those particular needs and wants are not being met, there are three particular injuries, sicknesses, and diseases that come about. And within those three particular injuries, sicknesses, and diseases, what backs that and what strategically systematizes that is the three preventions, cures, and purification, as well as healing and rehabbing. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. It's a systematic process to be able to do that, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, which is to prevent, cure, and purify, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So those are the three elements that we really have to understand what they are and the depth of them. Because half of knowledge is knowing all that you need to know. And the other half of knowledge is knowing the rest of what you need to know in depth of it. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I hope that it makes sense as much as it makes sense to me. Maybe you could rewatch this as many times as you would like to be able to understand the depth of this information, because it took me almost a lifetime up to this point to truly grasp it and understand the different contents, but most importantly understand the connections between them, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So I really wanted to let you guys know that is my biggest and brightest idea, that's the foundation and framework, the core of my work, is to help people find spiritual and psychological solutions, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And that is the essence of my work, as well as every other area of life. And just kind of working through that process and that journey is just important. Just to kind of quickly summarize, there's particular spiritual psychological understanding, and that understanding really involves three particular matters. Number one is the needs and wants of the spirit and psychology. Number two is the injuries, sicknesses, and diseases of the spirit and psychology, spirituality and psychology. And number three is the particular prevention, cure, and purification of the spirituality and psychology, and that we can continue to heal and rehab so we could reclaim, break even, level up, and maximize, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I know that sounds like a bunch of gibberish right now to a lot of us. Some people might have a greater understanding. They truly understand and grasp the ultimate aspect of it. Some of us are a little bit lower than that, where it kind of makes sense, but there's a couple of missing elements. And some of us is just going way above our heads. And each of these levels is perfectly fine. Try to understand as much as you can and try to make sure that you're implementing and passing on as much as you can, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So with that being said, I hope that this makes sense. That's my message to you, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Understand stuff at the base and foundation of it, and make sure that you try to utilize it from that aspect of it, because this goes back to the video that I've made a little while back, if anybody's watched it and can go back to watching it, which was, anything external. If you're trying to make sure that your external world is at its best, you have to make sure your internal world is at its best. And your internal world is primarily and only your spirituality and psychology and the different elements of that, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So I hope that you understand that and you utilize it to the best of your ability. And I really say this not to brag about my greatest idea, my greatest thing, and I truly understand and believe that this is the greatest idea that I've ever had. And within those elements, but I'm not trying to say that to brag, but I'm trying to press upon you that you should not take your ideas lightly. You should take them very, very seriously and never get idea fatigue. Always look for the next and best idea and your ultimate best idea. And this is my ultimate best idea, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I hope that makes sense. And my challenge for you is not only try to understand this, my best and brightest idea, because I believe it's the most important and brightest idea. Learn that a little bit deeper is my challenge to you, and go further into it. And look at your biggest and brightest idea and put that in the comments below, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I would love to hear what you think about that, bi-idhnillah, and leave your comments below. Jazakumullahu khair. If you want to join the Ridwanullah family, press the subscribe button and press the notification bell to officially join the Ridwanullah family for the most part, or unofficially I should say. And then If you've liked this video, please press the like button. And don't forget to share this with your family and friends. Jazakumullahu khair, Ridwanullah family, for tuning into another episode of Ridwanullah TV's Unfiltered Motivation with your host and maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, checking out by saying, never ever give up on completely maximizing your dream, deen, business, and life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.